And we are back again. It's your friendly neighborhood film watchers. We are Frankly Football. I'm your
Right.
humble host, Brandon, and I got my man, Honey Grand. Set it off, Chris, with me. How you doing tonight, Chris?
Hey man, you put the bat link out, man, or put it out on Twitter, man, and we about to drop these lists for everybody, man. We're gonna go out because we're in that time of the year where all the talking is out the way, all the what you think, what it is, combines, pro days out the way. Now it's just time for the scouts and the soon to be and want to be scouts to kind of put their rating out on the board. So let's go and deal with our top 10 quarterbacks, man. Who we got, man?
Absolutely, man. The signal callers, the most important position. One of one on each team.
Mm,
So when we looked at these guys,
right.
I tried to think about how important were they to the team.
Okay.
Of course, their completion percentage, because you want an accurate guy, you want a guy who won't make costly mistakes or turn
Okay.
the ball over. There are a few guys that will do those things in this list.
Right.
But you want a guy who will be a complement to your team and not a deficit, right?
Okay. All right.
Now let's start with the guy that I neglected to look up some film for. Stetson Bennett is our number 10 quarterback.
Okay.
And
have,
let
go
me
ahead.
ask you this, Chris. Let me ask you
Go
this.
ahead.
How can a reigning national champion be your number 10 quarterback? Explain that to
Because
me.
yeah, because he's got a whole bunch of other guys around him who are pro caliber type guys, top shelf guys, and so he doesn't have to do a lot. But given the opportunity to or having put himself in an opportunity where he'll have to make a big play, things of that nature, he's got so many more talented guys than everybody else. He can't help but be successful. Not a big fan of Stetson Bennett at all. Not in any shape, form, or manner. I, my mom always said, if you ain't have nothing nice to say about somebody, don't say nothing at all. So when it comes to Stetson Bennett, I just don't like him, and I'll leave it at that.
Well, see, Chris, I don't have that same rule. I'm not sure,
Okay.
right? So I'll say plenty of things that I don't necessarily like about the guy. I think that
Mm-hmm.
he puts a cap. He puts a ceiling on the Georgia offense, right? Because Georgia is full of dudes.
Right.
One of our quarterbacks, one of the top quarterbacks, made a
Right.
name for themselves off of what they did to Georgia.
Okay. I
Right,
get that.
right.
Yep.
But Bennett needs like advantageous positions in order to be able to succeed.
Right.
Now that's not to say that he isn't, good at the things that he does,
Right.
because I think that Georgia tailored their offense for him to succeed. Right? They ran a read option with him for him to take advantage of his mental quickness.
Right.
And then defenses couldn't keep up with that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think Sanchez just he was able to take because he had so much more talent around him than a lot of other teams around him that it was just to the point he could pick and choose what, and they never put him into the position where he had to carry the football team. That's why I wasn't crazy about Stetson Bennett.
So you're saying he was safe?
Oh yeah, he's very very safe. He's very
Gotcha.
very safe. Right, he's very very safe. So if I put him in the league and I've got a lead on him, he's not a guy I'm looking forward to lean or having to come in on Sundays like I'm expecting Stetson Bennett to carry me to victories. I don't see that.
Right.
His as we would say as Cowboys fan, his Cooper Rush value to me is at about a 3. That's what
Mm-hmm.
I think of Stetson Bennett.
Ooh, that's
Yeah,
rough. His
yeah,
Cooper Rush
yeah.
value. We are quantifying guys in Cooper rushes that they bring to the table.
Because
Now that's crazy.
Cooper Rush is a productive, winning backup quarterback in the NFL,
Talk
and
about it.
and that's why I say Stetson Bennett is a backup quarterback in the NFL, and I don't think he has the it factor as Cooper Rush is, and that's how I look at
Absolutely.
Stetson Bennett. That's
And
how
I,
I
and
look
I
at
think
Stetson
that a
Bennett.
few of these guys will end up being backup quarterbacks. But
Absolutely,
like I said, I forgot to look up film on Stetson Bennett, so that's why we can't
absolutely.
present anything
Yeah,
about him. Right.
I get it to you. All
Um,
right,
but let's go on to quarterback
number
9
one.
on my
Mm-hmm.
list. That's Jaron Hall. Um,
Okay,
and the thing about Jaron Hall is I think that he offers a bit more. Is it aggressiveness? Is that the right word? that
Yeah.
Stetson Bennett doesn't have. He once again is not going to be one of those great guys by any means.
Okay.
But Jaren Hall didn't have Georgia's offense, you know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Not at all. No shape, form, or manner.
And keep in mind, I neglected to mention this. Number 9 quarterback Jaren Hall, quarterback of BYU.
Right. Okay. So are we taking the fact of the matter that okay? So we had him BYU wide open offense, lack of um, competition. Is that why we have him so low, or what's the other reason why you have Hall so low?
I mean, once again, these bottom quarterbacks aren't going to be amazing guys.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that he offers things as a runner.
Okay.
And I'm talking about redeeming aspects before we go into this film. He offers things as a runner. He did put up a decent completion percentage. He wasn't necessarily an inaccurate quarterback. But I did see him kind of struggle sometimes.
Okay.
Right. One game that we do have up is one of his better games, even though they did end up losing this game, is against East Carolina in 2022.
Okay.
And the reason that I think that this is a good game to showcase is even though they lost the game, BYU wasn't afraid to lean on him to attempt to win the game. And that speaks volumes about how they trust him, because some guys, will get by with only having to throw the ball anywhere from 10 to 15 times. We'll talk about that later. But I want to move on to the first play that we have set up.
Okay.
And give me a second. This is once again in 2020 against BYU, right?
All right.
Against East Carolina. Now, we're going to go ahead and start the play here. Shouldn't have to use an indicator, but you see where Jaren Hall is. He's the quarterback. And you see him not afraid to rip it out.
Yeah,
he immediately notices the open guy.
Right.
And we'll let things run to get to the all 22 view. He's immediately not afraid to open it up to the open guy. And this showcases that he can put the ball where he needs to be, at least somewhere past 25 yards. Receiver wide open, takes it to Waffle House, right?
Yeah. He don't. I mean, that wide open, he still kind of underthrew him. The guy had to kind of slow down on it, did hit him in stride, but I'll take that. So and that was East Carolina game. They came back and they won, right?
No, they actually ended up losing this
that
game.
Man, we talked about that.
To like 25 or something like that.
Okay.
Right? So what I like about that play is he quickly got the ball out of his hand as soon as he noticed that the receiver was open.
Yeah.
Some guys would try to go through all of their reads. No.
Yeah, he read it.
Found the scrub and you pick on him, right?
Yeah, that's what he did. Okay.
Absolutely. So once again, I'm going to share the stream here. And the next play, we're going to go ahead and let this run. Shouldn't need to be told what the quarterback is.
Nice read.
Yeah,
I like this nice read. Yeah, I like it. Nice read. Found the wide open receiver.
And I'll let it go to the all 22 just so you can get a better view of it. And what I liked about this is he was able to find the guy that was right in between 3 zones. Right? So far, we've shown that he can, put the ball deep, a midfield ball where he needs to put it, and he can locate his guy. One thing that I did notice, he stared down, I believe that was a tight end.
Oh, yeah.
He stared down the receiver.
He looked him the whole way. Right. He from the top and double hitched it when he decided to throw it to him. So
yes.
Yeah, he threw inside the triangle and against better competition, they're gonna read that. But like you said, he's not afraid to rip it, but to the point where he knows where he wants to go with the ball, and when he knows, and if he's looking that direction, he's staying in that direction. So That's the one thing about Jaren Hall we would definitely say about him.
Absolutely. Now we're gonna go ahead to our last play here. which is later in the game. You know, I try to get plays from all phases of the game. And the one thing that you notice that there seems to be a bit of confusion, right? That can throw some guys off of their feet.
Right. Okay. Get out the pocket. There you go. Make a play. Okay.
Yes.
Little mobility. A little bit of mobility on him.
Absolutely. And what I liked about that is, despite him once again having the confusion at pre-snap, he was able to roll out and get positive yards on the run because no one was on the same page.
Right. So what you like about him more than anything else is that he's gonna make something happen even when there's nothing there, and get them in position maybe for a better play down the road.
Yes. Now once again, I'm not saying that Jaren Hall will be a starter or even a certified backup in the league, but I think that he's a guy who maybe can come in and compete. Right?
Okay. I mean, as a top 10 quarterback in this draft class, that's fine.
In this draft class.
In this draft class, I'll give him that. That's fine. You have, like I said, I like you'll have to sit up and force me to keep him around. But he'll be a good quality, productive arm for somebody in the training camp time frame.
Yeah, there we go.
Got you. Okay.
Now, here's one thing that I noticed, Chris. As we started to get up this list, it became easier and easier for me to find redeeming plays for these prospects, right?
Yeah, better caliber quarterbacks. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Absolutely.
So number 8 is
Max Duggan, quarterback TCU. That was your guy.
That's one of my guys.
When I first texted you the list, I did not have Max Duggan on there.
Yeah. I felt you had like maybe a little typographical error. Maybe you was busy doing something. You ain't put my guy. Max Duggan, I like him out of TCU. The reason I like Max Duggan out of TCU, he's a gamer. And gamers are guys who may not check all the boxes for, height, size, arm strength, but when they get in the game, they make things happen. Roll the film on my man Max Duggan and give me a little bit more detail how you feel about Max.
So we're playing the film in the game against K-State.
Okay.
And this is very early in the game. Don't pay attention to sliders here, but this is 39 seconds into the film, right?
Right. There we go. Yeah. There we go.
Absolutely. Pay dirt.
Right.
Pay dirt. And I'll let the all-22 play. Now, what I liked about this is he went from one side of the read all the way to the other.
Right. And caught his guy in stride where he can go make a play. I see you, man.
Caught his guy in stride. Defender couldn't do nothing but grab at ankles like he was doing the Buster Challenge. Pay dirt.
That's it. And those are the things that you want. Those are the things that Max shows you time and time again. He shows you his ability to catch his guys in position to not the strongest arm, not the most explosive, lethal arm, but he does put the ball in play where his guys can go make sizable gains. He's a yak machine for the wide receiver. He's a yak starter for wide receivers.
A yak starter. You know what? I like that.
Yeah.
So we're gonna bring this back up. This is a little later in the game, and what we see here is Max in the face of pressure.
Right.
Max in the face of pressure. Two guys.
Knows he's gonna get hit. Tight window throw.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So once again, this shows that just like you said, he is a gamer, right? And one of my gripes when you initially told me to put Max Duggan on this list, because you sent me your list, I sent you my list, and then we collaborated upon it.
Right.
That's how a partnership works, right?
That's how it works. But conflict makes content, conflict makes content. There we go.
I love it. I said that Max Duggan was one of those guys who would default to running. I compared him to a guy further down the list, but I said that he doesn't compared to this other quarterback, he doesn't necessarily have the massive arm
Right.
that will complement the athletic ability, right? Because
Right.
what we saw against who was it? Was it Ohio State that beat them in the college playoffs?
Yes.
Okay, but yeah, the
No.
game,
No, not Ohio State against talking about against Michigan.
Michigan. There we go.
Against Michigan,
We
right.
saw Max Duggan default to running a ton of plays where he maybe shouldn't have, right?
Right. Right.
So that is something I don't want a guy to get happy feet, and feel like, okay, I just gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of here, and panic, right? That's not what I want to see from a guy. All right, there we go. I got our last play up right here. And once again, this is a bit later in the game. Well, later than what we've been showing. This is now in the second quarter. Now, if you see, Max went from the left side of the field all the way to the right, surveyed all of his reads, and put it in between three zones.
And you see,
which is something that I like.
You see on that play between Max, how he threw the ball, and how my man from BYU did. There was more separation inside the windows there, where I feel like you can make that throw. The pass that Jaron Hall made, I think that ball gets knocked down or picked at the next level. And that play right there, Max is going to be able to get you some positive yards in the NFL on that pass and inside that window. And even though it's a Big 12 game, it's kind of wide open, it was still a pass I think he can make. And like you said, he didn't revert to running out of the pocket. You saw his feet were moving. He was looking. He was scanning the field and made the proper read.
Absolutely, yes. So we're going on to quarterback 7.
Yes.
And this is Jake Haener. Jake Haener.
Jake Haener, quarterback
of. Give me a second. I don't have my notes up. Yeah, see, when you're going through a few of these, I would say lesser school quarterbacks, you don't really retain this information, right? Quarterback, Fresno State. There we go.
Fresno State, yeah.
Okay. And you want to know what made it even harder, Chris? We didn't even have any 2022 film of Jake Haener.
So you had to go 2020. So you went 2021.
Yeah. In the vault, we had nothing.
Okay. Had to dig through some stuff. Okay.
Yeah. So we did have one game from 2021 and one game from 2020. We had 2021 against Oregon.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna let this play. This is the very first play of the game for Fresno.
Okay.
Watch this. Hey, easy throw. Easy throw. If they're going to give that to you, you take it, right? And that's what I liked. That's what I liked. He let his receiver. I mean, he let his offense predicate what was going to happen. And the defense decided, okay, we're going to give you 10. We're going to give you 12. I'll take it.
Gotcha.
What do you think? Okay. Oh, did you hear me?
I
said, what do you think about a quarterback that will just take the things that you give him? And
you want to find a guy who's not gonna force it in different areas to try to show off his arm talent. I think with him, he said, "Hey, listen, I'm gonna take the easier throws. I'm gonna in that film, he's going against Oregon, who's got some top flight guys, some guys who's gonna play on Sundays. So he said, "Hey, let me go in the areas where make it easier for me to make the easier reads." And go from there. And right now, that's what I want from him.
Absolutely.
We got something else from him, though, right? You got another clip on him.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I got multiple plays from him. I got multiple clips from these guys. This is slightly later in the game. Still first quarter. But you see a good rollout, and once again, taking what the defense gives him.
A little bit of athleticism.
Wide open receiver.
Gotcha.
Rolls out from the pressure. And just takes the 7 or 8 yards. So for a quarterback who may not have the biggest arm, he was also one of the more efficient.
Gotcha.
No doubt. And that's why I wish we had film from this year, because you did see a jump compared to 2021. But what this showed is his willingness to be efficient in the game. So, give me a moment. Let me pull up this last clip here. And this was a bit later in the game. Like I said, I did try to get players from all phases of the game here, right? Okay, now check this out.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I remember. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
He did get up. He got
Yeah. He got killed. Yeah, I remember. I remember when you was watching it, and you was like, "Yeah." I was sitting there. I was like, "Oh," you were talking about. Yeah, he almost lost his life there. I saw his soul leave his body on that one.
Absolutely. Now, what I like here was his ability to climb the pocket and
Gotcha.
at least the willingness to take the run.
Yeah,
You don't want to do that at the second level.
wait a minute, hold on. There's a
You do not
difference
want
between
to
what.
do that.
Okay, there's a willingness to get the yardage. The one thing he got to learn how to do more than anything is slide.
There we go.
Slide, because there's no need to take that kind of hit.
Absolutely. So what I think from Jake Hanner here is he's going to be a very reliable player. You know, we mentioned the how to quantify guys in a amount of Cooper rushes, right?
Right.
Jake Hader is going to give you, at least one Cooper rush because he's reliable, right?
Right. Oh yeah.
And
Go ahead.
if you're gonna have a guy that won't be risk averse, a backup anyway, because that's what he's gonna be in this league.
Gotcha.
These guys that are down the list, right? They aren't going to be your starters.
No, they're going to be career backups, maybe 1 to 2 games, and that's basically what you want from him. I think he's going to turn around and he'll get better and more progression. But he's a guy that's used to, hey, I'm running for my life type of situation. In that game, he was dealing with Thibodeau coming off one of the age. He had Christian Gonzalez out there running around. So he's going to do just enough to try to keep this thing moving and flowing, but he's not afraid of the competition.
Absolutely. Or
the challenges ahead of him. Yeah, where we have him ranked is exactly where he should be.
Yeah.
Exactly where he should be, in my opinion.
Absolutely. So this is where things get controversial, Chris.
Okay.
This is where things get controversial.
Okay.
Our quarterback 6.
Mm-hmm.
Our quarterback 6. Will Levis, Kentucky.
Okay. I don't think this is really controversial at all. Will Levis is a transfer from Penn State to Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
Huge arm, rocked up body. I got a question to ask you. Name me the quarterbacks who have been cut up physically, like jacked big guys in the gym, who have been prominent, consistent, awesome starters in the league. Most quarterbacks. Come on, give it to me.
Most quarterbacks are going to be, they look for size, things like that. But of course, you have your Josh Allens now.
Okay.
Let me go back.
Come on.
Oh man, do you want me to go super far back?
Yeah, you can go back as far as you think. This is my thing with Will Levis. Will Levis has an amazing cannon for an arm.
Okay.
But Will Levis, as you'll go through his film, Will Levis takes more hits than he should because he's so much big. He thinks he's so much bigger than other guys. His decision making is questionable.
Leaves a lot to be desired.
Right? I think because early in the draft process, a lot of people said Will Levis is, the Tom McShays and stuff. He's, top 5, top quarterback in this thing. And they may have looked at some different things going on with, in that area. But I think the draft community touted him as being such a great quarterback, and I don't think his tape shows that. But you go show something for me.
Yeah, absolutely. I try to only show the positive things. I'm not going to flame a guy, going to blow up the spot. right?
Right.
When we're showcasing this film, especially when we're not doing like a showcase just for him. We may
Gotcha.
do something like that about some of these guys. Who
Down the
knows?
road. Yeah,
You
down the
know,
road maybe. Yeah.
absolutely. But right, we did get what I think was one of his better games, one of his better games that we had anyway against
Okay.
Mississippi State.
Okay.
Um, and I think that showcased, a few of his redeeming qualities, like that big arm and things like that the scouts like.
Absolutely.
Okay, so this is very early in the game, right? And we're gonna see, ball snapped, and his ability to make the throw through contact.
Absolutely.
That's what that size gets you.
Yeah.
That Matt Leinart-esque size, right? That
I mean, he
Josh
took a
Allen-esque size.
right. I mean, he took a lot of times where he was bumped off, right?
Yes.
Bumped off center, and things of that nature, where he could fight through it and make the throws like that. My problem is that he takes far too many hits as a quarterback,
Yes.
in my opinion.
Yes. So
Far too
what do
many.
you do? What do you do with a guy like that who is going to have the wheels turning at the collegiate level? How do you handle that when you're expecting the guy to go to the next level, especially in year one?
That my thing in year one is that he's gonna start relying on, let me get out of the pocket and do certain things, but he's not the fastest guy. So
Not at all.
he doesn't give you that next tick level of athleticism, but he can throw it a long way. So he's gonna have to be reeled in to, like, hey, see it, let it go. Go be
Yes.
the guy. Go be the guy, to get the ball out to your playmakers and enhance it. And that's the one
Yes.
thing that through college, for me, that when I saw when looking at Will Levis, he was never really able to do it. Does he throw a pretty ball? Absolutely. Does it jump off his hands? Without question. But he doesn't put his guys in position to go make plays. He wants to, showcase his arm. And that's
Yeah.
what we saw from there.
Now that there were a few guys, who did that in previous years who didn't necessarily succeed.
Right.
Do you think that the league and its scouting has progressed to where they can kind of sniff out those red flags sooner, and thus they may have a read on Levis?
I think the scouts fall in love with his traits.
Yeah,
I think what's going to happen,
absolutely,
yeah, his traits is
100%.
what made everyone fall in love. So everyone thinks, well, he's got all these traits, so we take him to the next level. We give him a year of NFL coaching. He may be able to go there. My thing about it is that there's certain things about him playing in the SEC and coming from two big time programs from Penn State and Kentucky. I
Yes,
think Will Levis is what he is. I think his floor is what it is. I think he throws the ball a country mile, but I don't think there's much uptick on Will Levis's game, in my opinion.
absolutely. So let's go ahead to the next play here in our short film session on Will Levis, and this is midway through the first quarter, right? So we're gonna see this once again. Ball snapped. And one thing that I'd like to highlight, with the guys that we've been watching, is their willingness to take what the defense gives them. Right? Willingness to take what the defense gives them. So he put the ball right in between three zones. The receiver sat down on the route. We're good.
But in my humble opinion, I thought it was late. He could have got the ball there sooner.
I agree.
Yeah, I think he could have got the ball there
That's kind
sooner.
of what you get. That's kind of what you get with what we know about his deficiencies, right?
Right.
That's what you get.
A guy's got to be wide. A guy's got to be wide open for him to throw the ball.
Absolutely.
And you're not going to have those kind of windows in the league for guys being super duper wide open. You're going to have to be able to read it, go through the progression, know where he's going to be. And when he sits there, get the ball to him. It was like the receiver got there, stopped, hop, and then got the ball to him.
Yes.
And when he turned around, the ball wasn't on. The ball should have been on.
Absolutely.
So his anticipation is lacking. How about that?
Okay. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm not the hugest Levis fan, but I acknowledge that he's better than some of those other guys, right?
Absolutely.
Now we got our last play here. This is in the second half of the game. We see first part of the third quarter. Only like 2 minutes in. And I tried to get us something to showcase that big arm, right?
Oh yeah, he wants
Throwing
to
off of
let
your
he
back
wants to
foot.
let it fly now. He wants to let it
Absolutely.
fly.
Absolutely. Throwing off of that back foot, getting you a decent deep ball. Imagine if he had been planted on that route. Receiver may
Right.
not have had to slow down, right?
Absolutely.
So once again, Levis is going to give you those deep, highlight-worthy throws.
Absolutely.
As long as he has the time to. But then you got to ask yourself, what are you missing by having him there, right? Right?
You said, what are you missing?
Yeah. I'm saying, what are you? What what you're going to be lacking when you draft him, or if you draft him, for any team that drafts.
Yeah, I mean, I just think what you're not gonna get the anticipation that we showed you before,
Yes,
but
sir.
you will get all the traits that he'll be the off the bus guy, and he'll be the big arm guy you want. I just don't think he's not a force multiplier. I
Yeah.
don't think he's a guy who's gonna elevate your guys up to the next level. If that's what if that's what you're asking me, that's what I see with Will.
Okay.
Okay.
Absolutely. Quarterback 5, and some people may disagree with this.
Okay.
We are into the top 5 now.
Okay.
Tanner McKee, quarterback out of Stanford.
Smart guy.
Yeah.
Smart guy. Okay.
Now, what I like about Tanner, very, very accurate quarterback, and he showcased that, fairly well in the combine. I think, behind Stroud, he might have been the most accurate quarterback of that day.
Right.
But then you also get a quarterback who's on time, compared to who we just talked about with Levis, along with his accuracy, right?
Okay.
But he's going to be a very traditional pocket passer.
All right. So no explosive outside the pocket. No, hey, if it breaks down, I'm gonna make a play with my legs. But when he has the opportunity to be accurate and in anticipation, Tanner McKee is the guy you want. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. But that kind of goes with the bad, when I just said that his lack of ability to avoid those sacks. Shows on the tape.
Okay.
He took a sack on almost 30% of his plays.
So that goes with that even though he's a smart guy,
yeah.
Are we saying his processing of the game is a little bit slower than most?
I'm not sure. I think that he might be limited physically, compared to some of these guys with his running. That could definitely be a thing. But then I also think that it could be his O-line that was lacking. Right.
Okay.
So it could be a couple things that contributed to that, but I think that his processing was good. His processing is above quite a few guys on this list, right? Because I think that is one of the reasons why he was very what's the word I'm looking for? Exploitive, possibly, in his throws, because he's one of those guys that while you would think that he, when I say he's on time and he's accurate, he's just going to take what the defense gives him. But no, he is very methodical and he has his offense working through all his plays.
Okay.
But we got some film here. We got him playing USC.
Okay.
USC this year, we had 2022 film for everybody else except for one guy. Had a little bit of lag there. But what I like about that, look, outside shoulder ball only where his receiver can get it, right?
Yeah, good pass. Very good.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So just like I said, you want a quarterback who, can be on time and be accurate. He put the throw there right. He had the ball right where he needed to be when he needed to be.
Keeping the ball out. Keeping the balls out of harm's way. Yeah, but didn't lead his receiver to the point where that throw could have been to the point where he could have made he wasn't yak friendly in his delivery. He's gonna get the ball there, just not gonna be yak friendly.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And sometimes the route may dictate that, right? The receiver was already sat down in his route, so that could dictate that situation.
Okay. I mean, you can, but if when we look back at the film, if he puts the ball, like you said, on the outside, he puts it towards the outside shoulder, even if he makes it to the point where the route is he can turn upfield and go run up the field. He made it to the point he was going to catch it and fall down the way he placed it. So we
Yes.
say he's accurate, but he's going to put it out of harm's way, but he does not throw a friendly enough pass that makes it to the point that the receiver can go make a play. Does that make sense?
Understandable. Well, let's keep watching. We got
Okay.
2 more plays that we're going to watch with Tanner. To form, or rather to help our viewers form another opinion, right?
Okay, here we go.
Giving this running back the easy touchdown. Giving this running back the easy touchdown. Then he
Make a play. There we
he
go.
didn't have to slow down in the slightest.
Right.
Right?
There you go.
And that's once again, that's what you want from a guy who's going to be on time. Once again, his running back didn't have to miss a step.
Right.
And able to just exploit the defense, right?
Got you.
So that's one of those redeeming factors that I think that you'll get is that he is going to be on time. I think that unlike a few of these guys, Levis is excluded. Levis is probably going to be a starter, given where he's drafted. But Tanner is going to come in and be depending on where he drafts. Watch out,
Okay, I got you.
All right, now I'm pulling up the last play here. Give me a moment. There we go. All right. Oops, dropped it off. There we go. All right, now this is second half of the game, almost done with the third quarter, right?
Beautiful pass.
You see him put the ball where only his guy can get it.
Ball placement. Yes. Yes.
So that's once again, if I'm looking for a guy, and some people may disagree with me having Tanner McKee above Will Levis. That's fine.
A lot of people don't feel it because they're gonna say Will Levis. They expect Will Levis to start to be a starter in the NFL. Tanner McKee may be a spot duty backup guy because of our top 6 guys. Our 6 guys that we've showcased, one of them is only projected as being a starter.
Yes, the other guys can't bodies, and Tanner McKee, is going to go in and compete for a backup job, in my opinion. Right?
Absolutely.
Will Levis is not a first rounder, in my opinion. Let's get that out. Will Levis is not a first round quarterback in my evaluation.
Okay.
I think that his mental lapses, his ability to hold on to the ball too long, take costly sacks and give that ball away is something that is going to cost the team that drafts him.
Gotcha.
Right?
All right.
But he got that arm, so teams love that, right? Now compare this to Tanner McKee. Tanner McKee has shown that he can put the ball where only his guy can reach it. He's shown that he will be exploitive of the offense.
Right.
Of the opposing defense.
Right.
But he doesn't have the big arm
that Levis has. He doesn't have the big arm that Levis has. Doesn't have the pedigree of a Bennett or a Duggan have playing against different competition. But if I'm looking for a guy who's a smart guy who's not going to put the ball in harm's way, I'm going to take a Tanner McKee over other guys.
Yeah. I would draft. I'd probably draft Tanner McKee over Will Levis. If we're drafting guys, I might draft Tanner McKee over Will Levis. If I just wanted to see, it's rough because you one guy you hope will avoid the costly mistakes, and the other guy you hope would let the offense function, right? Like Tanner McKee might come in and be what was the I hate to use Kirk Cousins as like that barometer, right? Because that's too easy, right? He'll come in and be what was the quarterback that just played for Washington that now plays in Atlanta? Taylor Heineke. There you go. That's what you think Tanner McKee would be.
Okay.
Tanner McKee would come in and be Taylor Heineke, a quarterback who doesn't necessarily have a big arm, but will be very efficient in his passes. Okay. I just described. You tell me which one of those guys I described.
Yeah, you've hit Taylor. Yeah, you've hit a safe, reliable, backup, maybe functional starter in the league. while you're waiting for your premium
While
and
you're
franchise
waiting
quarter.
for your
Yeah,
premium guy.
your premium guy to
That's the
get.
thing.
That's who he can be. Okay, I give you
Absolutely.
that.
And
Okay.
while we're talking about premium guys, the last 4 quarterbacks are probably your premium quarterbacks or your premium prospects in this draft, right?
Absolutely. Okay. No doubt, without question.
Quarterback
Number
4, Anthony Richardson, Florida Gator boy.
physical specimen,
Yes.
athlete, beyond
Yes.
compare, but he's
Mhm.
broken.
There we
He's
go.
broken. He's broken.
Why is he broken, Chris?
Because he does stuff that he doesn't know why he does stuff, and it's going to take him a year, maybe 2 years, for him to understand the nuances of quarterbacking. You're going to show plays where he's an absolute mismatch if he gets outside of the pocket because of his size and his speed. But if I can keep him inside the pocket, I'm not putting all the drops that he said was the fault of his wide receivers during
There we go.
college.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put that on him and go from there. But you got some tape on it. Roll the tape on him, B.
So we're playing that first game of the year against Utah. He had a pretty decent game, right?
He had a great game. That's one of his better games of the season.
Absolutely. Now, see, if I wanted to talk about the realities of the quarterback, we also had the very next week against Kentucky. Ooh,
Right.
not a good showing, right?
So
But
you're on a roller
we're here
coaster
to-
when you're dealing with him.
There we go. You have to fix Richardson and teach consistency, teach clutchness, and in a lot of ways teach accuracy. Those are things that I think that he lacks. But the one thing that Anthony Richardson did is he went to that combine and he showed out and somehow made the masses forget about all of his film.
Yeah. I think Anthony Richardson, for me, falls in line with a couple of other great quarterbacks. He reminds me of athletically running like a Cam Newton, but throwing the football with the brokenness of a Tim Tebow.
There we go. That's the first name that came into my mind because of the school, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And both of those guys were recruited by those schools.
There we go.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So let's get into this film, man. This is what the third play of the game on their.
There we go. Right.
Very early in the game. Oh, and I want to back this up a little bit because I want to allow that pre-snap to show. And I think that he put the ball where he needed to be, right?
Right.
I think that he put the ball where he needed to be. But I would have
went to a different spot in the field, but okay.
Mm-hmm. So one thing that I notice about Anthony Richardson, right, is no matter where his target is, he tends to throw the ball full strength.
Right. With little to no touch on it.
Absolutely.
Right.
So while I like the completion, I noticed some deficiencies about it, and that bothered me because he's quarterback four on our list, correct?
Absolutely right. So that lets you. So you're sitting there saying, "B, okay, athletically and all these different things, he's great, but in that situation there, he could have hit his receiver in a better position for him to make a bigger play than he did. He got the completion, but he didn't put it in a place where a receiver could go make a play.
Yes. And the bad thing is I believe that was the tight end had to actually reach back for the ball.
There you go. Right. So there's your accuracy. There's your accuracy issue. Absolutely. Yeah. There you go. Gotcha.
Yeah. So this is I believe the very next play, right?
Mm-hmm.
1st and 10, once again. And this is what I like to showcase from Anthony Richardson because this is going to be some of the things that you do get.
Oh yeah, without question, right.
This is going to be one of those things that you do get. The big body athletic runs, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's a monster. He's a monster in space. Shakes the DB out of his socks, and the DB's making a decision. Do I want to go run and tackle this, or do I want to, so there you're gonna have that. You're gonna have that.
Yes.
with Richardson. Yeah, more times than not.
But I think that teams have covered that because I mean that's just the way that the league is going, right? That's
Yeah.
just the way that the league is going. They're still looking for that Cam Newton-esque aggressiveness when it comes to running.
Well, I mean, you got some guys who are going to run. You got guys in the league that are going to run, but you don't want to make a living with running as a quarterback. You know, Josh Allen will run. Lamar Jackson will run. Justin Fields will run. But you want to be to the point of progressing to the next step. Shoot, Patrick Mahomes will run. Jalen Hurts, come on. Come on. He's a running back. He's quarterback. I mean, let's be honest. But you want him to be able to make passing and making passing his first thing that he does well. And we see with Richardson, and I think we got one more clip of Richardson. His accuracy leaves much to be desired. That's going to take a year. Whoever drafts him, they're going to take a year and have that first year, see what he does, come back the next year, fix him, third year, fix him again. That's why taking him in the first round is a risky proposition, but you hold his rights for 5 years before you have to really do big time.
I don't want to keep having to repair my Lambo, though, Chris. If I'm taking a guy that high and I'm driving my Lambo, why do I got to keep replacing the suspension on my Lambo? I shouldn't have to do that.
Okay, you're right. You're absolutely right. But that's what you get with Anthony Richardson. You got a beautiful car that stays in the shop that you're going to have to tweak. Now you're going to be able to, you're hopeful by the time that third year rolls around, he's ready to get out and get on the Autobahn. But for the most part, you'll be going to the auto shop. It's going to look pretty though.
Yeah. Look great in the driveway. So we got a last play that we're showcasing here on team, right? So, goal line.
It's your nickname and everything.
Yeah. He should trademark it. He definitely should trademark it. But right here, goal line play. This is what I really like about it. Look at this.
Yes.
Avoided the sack masterfully. Threw it to the wide open receiver in the corner.
Big body can take the hit. Yeah.
Absolutely. So we're gonna see here the spin in the air is a work of art in my opinion. I definitely loved that play.
Yeah,
I loved that play because that physicality that you're not going to get that from many other prospects on this list.
There you go.
He's definitely going to be the most physical prospect on this list. Let me correct myself. So if you can refine that. Ooh, Chris, the things that
he's drafting off potential. What you're looking at is the potential. If you can refine that, be able to get that under control, fix those different things with him. The question is, when you're in the pro level and you're drafting as high as you are, when you have to take Richardson, you're going to have a quarterback guru inside the building to get him to that next place. But if you can get it under control, you may have a diamond. You definitely have a diamond. And then getting him to rely on his arm more than his legs is going to be the thing you're going to have to get him to do at the next level.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. But I do think that a team that drafts him, if they tailor their offense to him, man, they'll be all right. I think that they'll be okay, as long as they can tailor their offense and protect him, defend and shield his deficiencies, right?
Gotcha. But when you're drafting as high as he'll go, he's going to be asked to turn water to wine.
Revitalize a franchise.
Right, that's right, and he'll be able to do that as long as he's able to stay healthy and move forward. All right, now let's go with these top four, brother.
Top three guys. Top three.
Okay, top three.
We went back and forth about this. Right?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Quarterback three that we decided upon, the consensus quarterback three for Franklin football, Hendon Hooker, quarterback of Tennessee.
Absolutely. Love Hendon Hooker. Transferred from Virginia Tech. A little bit older, 25. That was one of the knocks on him.
I don't care about that, Chris. I don't care about him being 25 because
tell me why.
Quarterbacks are going to play till they're about 35 anyway, right? Maybe maybe a little bit older, but I use 35 because that gives him 10 years in the league. That's 2 or 3 contracts.
Okay.
That's 2
All
or
right.
3 contracts for real.
All right. So,
So
mhm.
his age don't bother me none because okay, I mean he balled out and at the combine, teams were like, "Oh, are you just the beneficiary of your system and the receivers?" He's like, "Oh, it's not my fault that the DBs can't keep up with him. Sounds like that's a defensive problem." And I loved it. It's not his fault that his receivers were better than the teams that he played against.
Well, if anybody doesn't even know this, Hendon Hooker is probably Brandon's favorite quarterback inside of this draft. If you can't tell that, so yes, Hendon Hooker did have the opportunity to work in Tennessee, where their offense is extremely fast, extremely quick. The only times you kind of see them slow down a little bit is when they did go against Georgia, as well against South Carolina.
Yeah,
But Hendon Hooker had the benefit was the beneficiary of two pro style wide receivers there, and like we said, a speedy type up tempo offense. The thing that
yes,
Hooker does have, he does have the accuracy, he does have the size that you love, and he's got the arm talent that you're looking for if you're looking for a
absolutely.
quarterback. His biggest issue right now is his health.
Yeah,
Is his health?
ACL man, the ACL.
Yeah, and his not his floor, but his ceiling.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a potential more for Hendon Hooker? Has he topped out, or does he have a little bit more? So can he be to the instance of like a Geno Smith as a prospect?
Yeah,
Because I don't think he has the upside of an AR-15. He doesn't have an upside of Anthony Richardson, but he is a better passer right now than Richardson is right now. It's not as much to fix him; it's just to the point of getting him healthy.
absolutely, man. I can agree with that. And that's why I relented because I
Yeah,
think compared to the guys above him, like you said, Hooker struggled against Georgia. He struggled against Georgia, but he put 5 of them on Alabama. And that's the film that we have today. That is what we're going. It was easy for me to find
of course it was.
good plays for
Of
Hendon
course.
Hooker. It was easy because in this particular game they were plentiful.
Okay, that
And
game he was.
yeah, absolutely. So we're gonna start right here, right, fairly early in the game, midway through the first quarter. Excuse me. One thing that I liked about
Let it
Hendon
go.
Hooker, let it go, let
Yeah.
it go, let it fly.
Catch him in stride
Mm-hmm.
and go from there. Drop it, let it
Now,
go.
one thing that I liked about this play, and I watched this play a couple times, was his play action attempt was swift. Some of the other quarterbacks, I believe it was Tanner McKee, or Hayner, their play action fakes were a little on the slower side.
Right.
Hendon
Okay.
Hooker's a swift, and he looked it off.
Got you. Which helped his wide receiver run his route effectively and to walk
Yeah,
wide open in that situation.
absolutely,
He did enough that day. Jalen Hyde did enough. We're going to see that play a couple more times
yeah,
during our breakdowns. But Jalen Hyde did number one Alabama's secondary that day, and those guys were looking
absolutely,
around like, I thought you had him. But the quarterback made it really simple. Caught him in stride, didn't break stride. Great situation there for Hendon Hooker.
absolutely.
Great
And
read.
I didn't even have to go looking very long, right? This is the very next play, very next offensive play. Once again, a very quick handoff in the
Yep.
guy's face.
Yep. Put the
Very,
ball on him. Made it to the
yes,
point that he produced helped the wide receiver get some yards after catch. Accurate ball placement was really good. Love that about Hendon Hooker.
Now here's the thing. Some people will penalize him because of his receivers. Jalen Hyatt went off this game, had all 5 of his touchdowns, all 5 of Hendon Hooker's touchdowns.
What won the Biletnikoff
Why is Hendon Hooker penalized for having good receivers, but I use CJ Stroud? Why is CJ Stroud not penalized as much for having
But
a bunch of great receivers?
I'm not penalizing Hendon Hooker on the fact of his wide receivers. I have Hendon Hooker placed where I have it because of his upside.
Hmm.
I think
Okay.
his floor is amazing. I think he's kind of maybe topped off as a prospect. I don't see that next level or next tier for him
Yeah.
as a prospect. That's the only reason I
Okay.
have him where I have. I mean, he's top three on
Okay.
top three quarterback. It's not like he's not gonna be in a soup line. He's just not a guy who I think I'm gonna build my team around.
Ooh. We gonna talk about that. We gonna
Okay.
talk about that because that's your first time saying that. Even before we went on air, right?
Okay. Okay.
So I want to pull up our last play here, and this is later in the game. Once again, a very quick play action handoff, 9 route, deep ball, deep ball.
On him. Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful
Now,
throw. Pitch
that
catch.
showcases his ability to do the deep ball
Yes.
and put it where it needs to be,
Right.
and not have his receiver slow down.
No, no.
Which is something exactly what you want. Some other guys may have struggled with, as we've seen. But I think that if you put Hendon Hooker in the right situation, you give him a good speedy receiver or a good nuanced finessed route runner, he'll be able to succeed because he's made all of the throws as we've seen right here. All of these throws weren't 9s.
No, but they were to the point where he was throwing to a while. He was doing a lot of pitch and catch, especially in that game. Especially in that game, he was a lot of pitch and catch in that game.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Gotcha. But you said that you aren't sure about Hendon Hooker leading a team. Why do you feel that way?
I'm going by one. Now, this is what I feel like Hendon. Like I said, Hendon Hooker transferred from Virginia Tech, where he had a really good career going there from Virginia Tech to Tennessee. Where his ceiling is, I think things have to be kind of like perfectly placed for him to take that next step or the next leap. I just think ball placement is great. Is he complimenting for Yak? Yes, he is. I just think right now where Hendon Hooker is with injury, and I want to see how he comes back from injury before I say he has another step he can take inside of his development. Does that make sense?
There we go. Coming back from cool. Yeah, I'm cool with that, with the coming back from injury part. I think that Hendon Hooker can actually succeed. At the next level and be a very serviceable starter. He's been mocked to the Vikings a lot recently, right? Put him on that Minnesota team with Justin Jefferson and receiver to be named later and TJ Hawkinson. That'll be the ideal situation for him.
Yeah, in that situation, and with the head coach OC who makes it to the point of making it advantageous for his wide receivers to get favorable matchups, absolutely. I think it'll be a good situation for him. He'll be in a year, maybe 2, a step up from the guy they have there right now. But you get the upside with him. You're going to get the accuracy. You're going to get the toughness, and I think Hendon Hooker's going to be fine. I think he's better than everybody else we put on there. I think that his ceiling is where
shoulders above. Matter of fact, these top 3 quarterbacks have been head and shoulders above the previous 7.
Absolutely. So I think Hendon's going to be fine. I think the potential for Anthony Richardson is better, but as of right now, where we live and breathe, even with a bad ACL, Hendon Hooker's better, in my opinion.
Okay. Quarterback 2. Once again, this is somewhere that you and I disagree, Chris. This is somewhere that you and I disagree. But like you said, conflict makes content. And that's okay. I full-heartedly support that.
Okay.
CJ Stroud, quarterback of the Ohio State University, sits at quarterback 2 for us.
I think CJ Stroud is an absolute gem. I think he's he's prototypical. I think for him, he showed me a lot in his game against Georgia in a losing effort. I totally believe if Marvin Harrison Jr. isn't taken out of that game, he beats Georgia. Because the one thing we always had against CJ was, how does he work under pressure? And the other thing that we hold against CJ is that the helmet that he wears in college, we don't think they produce pro level quarterbacks. I think the last two quarterbacks out of this university, okay, will prove to be top caliber pro quarterbacks. And that's what I think about CJ.
Okay. Okay. We give a lot of credit to the Ohio State receivers. Ohio State has actually produced a ton of top flight receivers over the past
Hey, listen in.
multiple years.
Listen, you're going to turn around.
Do I need to count? Ohio State has produced receivers for years. Let's just go back to the last 5. I think we got like 6 really good guys, even going back the last 5 years.
You got Mike Thomas that plays at New Orleans.
Yeah.
You got Chris Olave.
For now.
For now. Chris Olave, who's in New Orleans right now. You got Garrett Wilson, who was one of the top guys off the board. He's up in New York. Matter of fact, he was the offensive rookie of the year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
And then
Terry McLaurin.
Scary Terry McLaurin, who plays great against everybody except for the Dallas Cowboys. And then you turn around and you've got the guys who are coming after him, man, and we'll be able to talk about them more in depth next year. But yes, they produce a lot of they produce a lot of NFL caliber wide receivers. The problem is always saying, okay, the system that they run up there with Urban and Day and Coach Hartline and things of that nature is advantageous for wide receivers to produce. But the quarterbacks, when they get to the next level, don't do so. And like I said before, to date, to record, there has not been a successful NFL quarterback coming out of Ohio State. I think Justin Fields and CJ Stroud breaks that mold. CJ performed so well in that pressure-packed game against Georgia that I think that makes him number 2 on my board. His arm talent, his accuracy, everything that goes along with him, CJ Stroud is my guy.
Absolutely. And here's the thing. Here's the difference. Georgia's defense is like that. That was the main deciding factor where we came to a consensus to put CJ Stroud over Hendon Hooker. Georgia's defense is like that. And for Stroud to go into the Natty and perform as well as he did, defense, even though they didn't win, was spectacular.
Yeah, he played a really good game.
We got 3 plays from CJ Stroud. Now I'll go ahead and start the first one for us. This is very early in the game.
Beautiful pass.
Yes. And once again,
you're
seeing a big contrast between these top 3 guys and the ones below them. The talent level, whether it's at the receiver position or just at the quarterback position in general, night and day. From the top 7 guys to these top 3.
Had a lot of time to throw behind that big offensive line as well, neutralizing Georgia's pass rush in there. Absolutely,
and that's impressive in itself. You know, Georgia produces just guys at almost every position consistently. So once again, for Stroud to come in and be as successful as he was, even though it was in a loss. We got to give him credit about that, right?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
Hendon Hooker struggled against Georgia, just like I said. Hendon Hooker.
Yeah.
Wasn't pretty.
Nah, not at all. Georgia really manhandling that day. They manhandling. It was not pretty at all that day.
Absolutely. So let's go to our second play here. This is in the second quarter.
This was the one. There it is. Let it go.
Avoiding the sack was spectacular.
Yep. Bearing down on. Here we go. Boom. Yeah. So that's what he's going to see a lot. Right. So he's going to see a lot of that in the league next year, wherever he goes. He's not going to have a great offensive line, but keeping his eyes downfield, finding the wide open, and then throwing the dart. That was what I loved about CJ. And you saw a lot of that in that game. He found Marvin. He was like under the rest a lot of the game, and that was always the biggest question. playing in the Big Ten, not against premium pass rushers and things of that nature. When he got rattled or flustered, could he make plays? And he definitely showed and proved that night against Georgia.
Absolutely, absolutely, man. And I was really impressed with that play. You know, his ability to work under pressure on that particular instance. Now here's our last play for CJ here. I believe this is in the third quarter. I wanted to show his deep ball ability.
Yes.
I wanted to show his deep ball ability. You know, just ability to play pitch and catch in a well-protected pocket.
Money.
Let the receiver do the rest of the work.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's what you want to be. When he's protected, he can stand upright and scan the field. His accuracy is impeccable. He's going to put the ball. His ball placement is going to produce more yak for wide receivers. And like I said, he's been throwing the NFL caliber wide receivers since he's been there at Ohio State. C.J. Stroud is number two on my board all day long, and I can build my franchise around him and go forward.
Absolutely. Number one, was there ever any surprise that Bryce Young, Alabama quarterback, was going to be the number one quarterback on our list?
It was going to be debatable between him and Stroud, and C.J. Stroud, but you got to give it to the point that Bryce Young, former Heisman Trophy winner, the only knock on my guy is the fact of his body build. That's our biggest knock on Bryce Young. Accuracy on top of it.
Yes.
Arm strength, great. And the ability to get it done, outstanding. Our problem with him is the slight build, because we've had other slight build quarterbacks out in that same program not make it long in the NFL. You look at between him and Tua Tagovailoa, can we say they're about the same body type?
Probably both of them 5'10", both of them
5'10"-ish. Let's not do that. 5'10"-ish.
5'10"-ish.
5'10"-ish. And that's the biggest knock on Bryce. His height, his size, and his build. So it's not.
But is Tua above? How much does Tua weigh? Is he even above like 210?
It does not make a difference to me, because Tua has been knocked out of games several times, in the immortal words of G Money from New Jack City. I am not a big fan of slender built quarterbacks out of the University of Alabama. But
so does that make you squeamish on Bryce Young?
Absolutely, but that doesn't take away from his talent. If I can protect him, he's going to carve up defenses. If I can keep him upright, he's going to be incredible. So I've seen him work against the top level talent in defensive play because he played in the SEC. That's the only thing that ticks me over C.J. Stroud. That in Alabama, they've been able to play against high quality level defenses, and he's been able to get the job done.
Okay.
My problem is, if I don't kill him in a situation where he's been able to be well protected, I'm in trouble.
Understand, man. I understand. The game that we picked was, I tried to find the best game for him, but we didn't necessarily have the game against Vanderbilt, I believe was his best game of the year. But we did have Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
He performed very well against Arkansas, right?
Okay.
So that's the game that we have. That's what we're gonna play.
All right.
And first offensive play of the game for them. You see 14:47 on the clock, right? We just gonna let this run.
Let it go.
You just see the ability, right?
Yeah.
The ability to just fling it. And that is what's going to sway people's mind, because Bryce has been this size his whole life. Yeah. Bryce has been this size his entire life.
Okay.
But that hasn't stopped him yet, right?
And it's not going to stop him. It's just going to be to the point of, if you can't protect him, how does he move from that point? And that's the biggest problem. He's going to be prone to get more. He's going to be prone to get more injuries when he's going against guys that are bigger, stronger, faster. And so you haven't seen a lot of elusiveness out of Bryce. He can run, but he's not the runner of Richardson. He's not the willing runner of Richardson, and he doesn't have the body like Levis to be able to take those big high impact hits. So
Yeah,
that's my biggest problem. But if I can keep him protected, I mean he'll dice you up. The accuracy on that pass was second to none. I mean the
absolutely.
wide receiver didn't even break stride. Caught the
Yeah,
ball, turned the field, very yak friendly,
yes,
extremely yak
absolutely.
friendly.
Absolutely, absolutely. So this is a bit later in the game for our next play. Um, we see here, I believe this is in the second quarter. Catches his guy in stride.
Come on,
It's like a
come
long
on.
handoff. Peter.
Yeah, long handoff. Yeah, boom.
And that wasn't even his first read. That's what I like about that. He very quickly looked to his next read and made the successful play. Put 6 on the board. You
There you
know.
go. And then
So
Bryce is gonna do that all day long.
yeah, absolutely, man. So once again, these are going to be the things that teams argue with themselves with. You know, are we willing to take the gamble on the size? Because after 2021, what happened with Tua Tagovailoa? Teams are going to be screaming for smaller guys, right?
Right. Absolutely. You got teams right now sitting there saying it was a mistake for certain teams to sign Tua for a long term or to bring him back for a 5th-year option. You're looking at the same thing here. You're gonna have a smaller, slender built quarterback that, when protected, is deadly. But if we can't protect him, what is he gonna be able to do? But we're not gonna argue, at 11:38 at night, talking about, oh hey, can Bryce Young put it on you? Oh, he gonna put it on you. The
Yeah,
question is his left tackle and right tackle gonna be able to keep people off of him? And
there
that's
we
gonna
go.
be the biggest issue.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, the one thing about this particular video was only 5 minutes compared to someone being over 30. They picked them apart, right?
Yeah,
This
absolutely.
is in the third quarter, very late in the third quarter. And we see him crawl up in the pocket once
And
again.
let it go.
Hit his guy very deep again. Just hit it, walked into the end zone. Well, rolled into the end zone, I should say, right?
Right. Yeah. So that's what you get with Bryce. That's what you get with
Yes.
Bryce Young all day, every day, and now on Sundays. Protect him. He'll take you there. You can build your football team around him, but you know what you get. He's not going to be a guy that's going to get out the pocket and try to run and do more than he needs to. Because that was the one thing that we always knocked Tua for. Tua tried to act like he was more athletic than he was. Bryce knows exactly who he is. I'm a pocket passer,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm exceptional at doing that. I'm going to get the ball to my playmakers. He's a force multiplier. He's just going to have to be able to be just be in the ideal situation.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I think that we can't discount once again, a guy being on a good team. He can only play with the cards that he was dealt, right?
Absolutely.
But when you just look at the success that he has, Tua was the same size in college. Bryce Young is a much better prospect than Tua was, right?
Yes, he is. Absolutely. But let's
So
let's be let's look at it like this. I think Tua was. I think they're about right around the same. The problem is that for both of these guys, when they got ready to come out, people were able to pick apart certain things about them. And I think we're discounting Bryce at the next level because of what we saw how Tua struggled with his frame at the next level. Think about Tua
absolutely,
when he was coming out. He had a bad hip. He really needed to sit. Bryce hasn't had that.
yeah,
Bryce is going to be one of the top 2, 3 quarterbacks taken in this draft. But
yeah,
the GMs who are looking at him are going to say, can he hold up? And
yeah,
that's your question with Bryce. Can he hold up long
absolutely,
term? Yep.
absolutely. So that's 1 through 10.
Yes.
That is 1 through 10. Stetson Bennett, Jaron Hall, Max Duggan, Jake Hanner, Will Levis, Tanner McKee, Anthony Richardson, Hendon Hooker, C.J. Stroud, and on top of the mountain, Bryce Young. How
Bryce
do you
Young.
feel about these quarterbacks coming into this draft, Chris?
Hey man, listen. I think this draft class they'll have productive guys. I think of these top 10, I think 3 of them are going to be long term starters. I think the rest of them are going to be projects. I think yeah, 3 of these guys are going to be long term starters. One is a project, and the other guys are going to be backups, career backups,
Yeah,
for the most part. So that's probably, you get about 30, 40, I don't know, top 10, maybe 40% are going to be get to the league and make the next one. And teams don't need quarterbacks every year. They're not always quarterback hungry teams. So these guys will be okay. There'll be guys, some of these guys you're going to make them the franchise. One of these guys you're going to have to sit for a year. The other guy, he's going to get healthy and he's going to be better down the road. But for the most part, quarterbacks are overdrafted every year because of the position they play. So I would rate this year's draft class of quarterbacks probably a B. B minus,
I'm okay with
B
that.
minus, C plus, as level of talent coming out. But gonna find some players here that are gonna be able to play for a good period of time. And one, if he gets healthy, he might be the best out of this class. Who is your favorite guy, which is Hendon Hooker?
Hey man, look. Just because he's my favorite, I wasn't gonna put him at one. Even when I sent you my list, Hendon Hooker wasn't the number one quarterback, even though
you wanted to put him at one. You just didn't want to get stoned.
Not at all.
You don't want to get stoned.
Not at all, Chris. But I also trust what he put on film. And it's 2023. ACL injuries don't hold guys down forever.
You're right. This isn't the 80s. You're absolutely right. So hey man, this is our list, man. We're at 116, hour 16 into it. As always, man, we really appreciate the support. Looking at our numbers, man, we're creeping up a little bit, man. Almost at 500 subscribers. So if you've been watching this and want to see how we did on this, make sure you like. All right, gets us in the algorithm. It's free money and this currency. It's free out here. Make sure you go ahead and drop a comment. Say, hey, Chris, I like that. Hey, B, I don't know about that. But drop a comment so we can go back and forth. But more importantly, man, subscribe, man. Love the fact that you've taken the time to subscribe and become a part of this community and our family and go forward with us, man. We are Frankly Football together as always, man. I am the Robin. This is my Batman, man. And we throw up the signal. We got more content coming out for you. We got the running backs coming out next. Make sure you lock in with us and go forward, man. This is Brandon's favorite time of the year. This is what he wants to do all the time. He don't really want to work a full-time job. He want to work on cars and draft and look at draft prospects. That's what he really wants to do in his life, man. That's how it is, man. That's it, man. So, like as always, man, I'm Senator Chris. And this is my man BH. And we are Franklin Football. And until next time, peace.